Right, hi all, shall we start? Well, so we are in your lesson number 7 in our grade 12 syllabus, Money and Financial Institutions. So we classify financial institutions in 4 ways, that is as per the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the banking sector, the deposit-taking other financial institutions, special financial institution, and contractual savings institution. So we are still in the very first part, which is the banking side, the banking sector. So under banking sector, there are 3 areas or the 3 organization types that we have discussed. First one we have covered, Central Bank of Sri Lanka. It functions, its objectives, its activities, especially the Monetary Law Act. So things like that we discussed. Then we came to the licensed commercial banks. Right? So we discussed the main services they provide and how we classify licensed commercial banks. And under that topic, one of the key areas is usage of checks. Obviously, checks can be used to settle your payments. So that's one of the important service as a businessman you receive from a commercial bank. So that part we covered. And then we have our new subtopic today, which is talk about electronic money or the e-money, the concept of e-money. So I think, today's kids are more aware about those one, because when we study those days, and there were very few instances that we used credit cards, debit cards, and use an ATM, right, quite often. But here it's not the case nowadays. So we'll see the types of electronic money, and then we move forward. So then with that, that is probably the end of full discussion of the licensed commercial banks. So with that, we can move to a new topic, which is the licensed specialized bank, which will be, then we are fully done with the banking sector. Right, so let's get started with electronic money, or the concept of e-money. දැන් මම මේ concept එක කලින් කියලා තියෙනවා නේද? හැමතිස්සෙම මොන හරි concept එකක් ඉස්සරහට e අකුරක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. අපි මේ කතා කරා e-banking කියන කොටස යටතේ. නේද? E-money became e-money. Banking, e-banking. Class, e-class. Learning, e-learning. නේද? Channeling, e-channeling. විදියට, right? Mail, email, right? So why is that? Why is there a e-letter prior to the concept? Is that so everything will be doing electronical format. So then the electronically systematical exchange of money, I would say, known as the electronic money, right? So the most of the cases we use the concept of EFT, electronic fund transfers. For example, usage of debit cards, usage of credit cards, so the PayPal, it would be the smart cards, right? So we'll be discussing a set of things. So we'll be first starting with the credit cards, debit cards, some prepaid cards, right? And also smart cards. So those are the stuff that we have to discuss, comes under that. Right? Sometimes even the microchips. And you might remember that we discussed the characteristics of checks as well. And the check characteristics, the pay in, right? Draw in, the bank, date, signature, MICR. So likewise, we'll be discussing the main characteristics of a credit card or a kind of a electronic money. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මෙන්න මේ විදිහට electronic money එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ characteristic කතා. Don't worry, those are all cancelled cards. So we'll be talking about the characteristics, and also I have insert some picture as well. So it's really important that, like checks we discussed, so the characteristics of a electronic money as well will be discussed. Then that will be the end of the banking sector, except the licensed specialized bank. And today, hopefully, we can start that area as well. Right, now let's move to the tune, and we have a explanation for the electronic money. So let's highlight some key areas there. A payment for buying a good or a service can be made using cash or any other payment settlement method. Yes. So that's what we, anything which is commonly accepted. So until recent times, the businessmen often use coins, notes, checks for the settling payments. But we have had some sort of a difficulty still using notes and coins and checks, right, to avoid these factors and to enhance the smooth transaction, not just locally but across the globe. So when we, especially when the international trade expands, we have a separate lesson, trade, lesson number 11. We'll be talking about more details. So as the international trade expands, so people want to have these global payment methods. So that's what, beyond the local currencies, beyond the checks, they want to have this electronic money. So at present, banks have introduced different services to the customers using electronic communication technology. So these services are known as services related to electronic money transfer, or the e-cash, e-money. E-cash, e-money. So it's an electronic payment settlement method which can be substituted for cash and checks. So what the end goal is to settle a payment, right? So if we can do that using electronic money, so then it satisfies the need of cash and checks. So here's the explanation as per your syllabus. The electronically exchange of cash or the cash exchange through a computer network is known as electronic money. So as a result, a fund transfer takes place from one party to another party, we known as this electronic fund transfer. So that is the 3 words of EFT. So it's all about exchange through a computer network. So one network to another network, there will be a cash exchange through electronically. So that will be noteless or a coinless or a paperless environment that will be just through the networks. Right? You don't use any physical cash. You don't use the printed money. So under that, we have set of things to discuss. Like I said, credit card, debit card. So starting with credit card, I don't think this is a new thing to you, right? Because we have had some situations where we discussed about even credit cards, especially in our lesson number 1 as well, because you had a subtopic called evaluation of money. So that we started from like the material money to the coins to the bank money. Then we talk about electronic money. So then we discuss to some point. But here, some sort of I would say some more details will be discussed. So let's start with the credit card. So one of the main type of electronic cash. Now, cards that are issued by a commercial bank or authorized institution that allow a person to obtain goods or services up to a specified value. So there will be a specified value from authorized dealers are known as credit card. So it could be a bank. Now, most of the cases, students think a credit card can be issued by a bank only, but not the case. So it could be bank or authorized financial institution, but most of the cases banks issue, right? So an electronic verification system is used to verify the validity and the credit limit when a credit card is presented to a businessman or could be an individual person. So now you might have a question, how they determine the credit limit. So that is based on the income level of the applicant or the businessman. So it could be, you can come up with your business financial statements, or if you are a salaried employee, it could be your salary slips or whatever the method that you can prove your income. So based on that, they'll check your expenses, your other obligations. So then they could, decide the credit limit. So it could be 50,000, 100,000, or maybe 500,000, or even 1 million. So that is based on the income level of the applicant. right? So they'll be decided credit limit. So it's like a short-term, facility that you are getting. So when the card is inserted in the card machine, which we discussed about this EFT POS machines, electronic fund transfer at the point of sales. So at the sales outlet, these details are revealed. So however, in electronic commerce, the presentation of the card is not necessary and the transaction can be carried out by providing the relevant details about the card. Well, now you might find a very difficult situation. Now, yes, now you have to physically present the card when you come to a purchase. When you go to supermarket, you have to present the card. But by having a credit card or electronic cash, it is possible for you to do the electronic business. So you can do some online purchases. So then you don't have to, physically present the card, but to know the key information. For example, you have to enter your card number, your CVV number, the date of XY. So this stuff, for example, now if we just Google and see, for example, if you want to make a reload online, for example, let's say, right? So dialog online reload or a payment, if you want to do in such a way, right? Because in that manner, you cannot physically present the card. But what you can do is, for example, you can just add your number, right? So then, let's say you want to make 1,000 payment to that particular one. So then it gave you option, right, through the cards. For example, I'm going to click this payment method as Visa or Master. So once I click that, it will retrieve for me to another window, right, which is they are asking for me to fill the card details. Right, as you can see, we talk about what is this Visa and Master. So those are credit card network agencies. So mainly it like could be Visa or Master or Amex. So you have to basically enter the card number here and the expiry date, and also there's the CVV number, right? And that kind of thing. And also there will be something called OTP, which is a one-time password, because what happens if your card details exposed to another third party, they can easily, do transaction. To avoid that, there will be a short code or a kind of a PIN number will be sent to your registered mobile number. So you have to enter that as well. Right. So that's about, talking about purchasing online. So that is possible. So, it's not possible when you have a check. It's not possible when you have a lot of money in cash. So it's not possible to do the online purchase. So either you need to have a debit card or a credit card. So here, it is not essential for a customer to have a bank account. Why? So that will be depend on, I would say, your income level. So they do not consider whether you have a bank account or not. So that's something we have to consider. So I appreciate if you could highlight what's in the bold color. So it's not essential for a customer to have a bank account. A credit card can be submitted for recommended trade organization to buy goods and services on credits up to a certain amount. But the today's context, they have introduced to withdraw cash as well from ATM machines. Now let me explain that one. So previously it was mainly goods and services, which means by using a credit card, for example, here is a credit card. So using a credit card previously, that you can only purchase goods and services. For example, you can go to supermarket, you can go to shopping, you just purchase goods and services and you can pay. But in recent times, they have introduced to withdraw money from ATMs as well for a certain extent. For example, if you're having a credit card, right, worth of, let's say, 100,000. So they are giving you the facility maybe up to maximum of 30%, right, to withdraw cash, for example, which means you'll be able to withdraw 30,000 rupees from ATM machines. And so that also a good option, right? Because when you have a money emergency, It's not always the case that we have to go and use the card. There could be instances that where you need cash as well. So in that manner, yes, what we can do is that option also available up to some extent that you can withdraw cash as well using ATM, but there will be a interest for that, and there will be a additional service charge as well if you use this service, right? So that's what something that you need to make sure that you know. So it's a certain limit will be there. So this limit will be basically decided upon your income level. There has to be a proper proof or a confirmation about your income. So they'll decide the credit level, right? And from the credit level, what happens is, to some extent, they'll decide that you can withdraw cash as well from using ATMs. So let's move forward with the rest of the explanation provided. In addition, the credit card can also be used to withdraw cash up to a certain limit. So yes, please highlight that. From the automated teller machines, ATMs. The bank will later inform the credit card holder the credit balance obtained using the credit card. So the credit card holder is liable to pay that credit balance to the bank. The transaction related to credit card or the other automatic electronic networks. The international credit card network. So this is what I was talking about. Visa and Amex. Those are international credit card network. Now, what happened, for example? So you can highlight those. Like mainly, we have Visa, Master, Amex. So Amex means American Express. So which have short form, which they consider AN and EX. So that is Amex. And the Discover also one of the recent credit card network. Now you might ask the question, why the credit card networks? Because the reason is when you apply for a card, they ask whether you want a Visa or a Master or Amex. Now, as you can see, those two cards, it's Visa, right? Visa is there. So why is that? For example, now, the credit card, right? So can be issued by a commercial bank or a financial institution. But in order to give them a global recognition, for example, now when you go to another country and you're using let's say Sampath card or HNB card, so they do not aware about that bank, right? There will be thousands of banks in the world. So in that manner, to give that international recognition, so where you can do global transaction across the borders. So we have this because those credit card networks are globally established, right? So you can always see sometimes in a shop, there's even the welcome board is there, like Visa welcome, so warmly welcome, something like that. So in that case, yes, so those are across the globe. So in that manner, those cards or those financial institutions or the banks get the membership of these credit card networks. What happened? Then you will be able to use it across the globe for any transaction. It could be online, right? So online purchases, no doubt. So what happened when they don't have that membership? So maybe that will be limited to within the country. So that's what the credit card networks are there, right? So with that, we can move to the rest of the thing, which is the advantage. So it's really important, and make sure when they ask the advantages about credit card or debit card, what you really need to do is just read the question and try to understand whether they are asking the advantages to the customer or advantages to the business. Now, let me tell you this thing. Now, do you think that, now I'm asking question, do you think that, is there a difference between purchasing credit basis or purchasing using a credit card? What do you think? So let's say, here you are purchasing or a credit purchase. Credit purchase versus purchasing using a credit card. Purchasing using a credit card. So the same thing that we can say a credit sale. If you think about the business point of view, it's a credit sale, right? What do you think? Is there any difference? Credit sale and a sales via credit cards. Business එක නැත්නම් shop එක payment එක ගන්න credit card එක ඒගොල්ලන්ට payment එක ලැබෙනවා. Do you think is there a difference or is the same thing? Now think about your point of view. Purchasing credit purchase, and a purchase using a credit card. Is that a same? Or else, if you think about the business point of view, masala එකත් ණයට විකිණීමක් සහ credit card එක use කරොත් වෙනසක් තියනවද නැද්ද? What do you think? Yes. So what do you mean by yes? Is there a difference or is that similar? That's a difference. Yes, exactly. Now, think about the business point of view. If it is a credit sale, guys, what happened? Now, that will revise our knowledge when it comes to accounting. Accounting credit sale sales credit. Anyway, sales credit. I hope you remember. You know the double entry, right? Double entries වලින්ම මේක ගොඩක් සරලව explain කරන්න පුළුවන්. නේද? Credit sale එකක් නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම anyway sales account credit. So let's say 100,000. And since it's a credit sales, you're not getting cash. And the cash ලැබුණා නම් cash account debit. හැබැයි මෙතන cash ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ නේනම් මොනවද ඔයගේ debtors. Right? Debtors debit this much. Now for this there is a risk. What is the risk? There could be a situation, bad debts. There could be a situation it will take some time to collect the money. So always there's a risk when you make a credit sale. And also that impact your day-to-day working capital as well to balance your cash, right? So it will impact your cash inflow and outflow. It will take some time, maybe 10 days, 30 days, or likewise. But here what happened? If the customer use a credit card, instantly you will receive the cash. Anyway, seller somehow get money. Yes, same time. Yes, it doesn't, because now in the credit sale, I would say the parties who are involved in the transaction is the organization and the customer. But if the customer use a credit card, what happened? There will be another third party. The third party is the credit card issued bank. Now, in this case, so it's the transaction between the customer and the organization or whatever, the shop or the retailer. But in this case, what happened? Now, customer use the credit card to pay to the organization, right? And there will be another party who is involving, because why? When you use the credit card, the bank will make the relevant payment to this business. Now, let's say this is ABC business. Let's say this is Bank of Ceylon. Got it? So then, from the bank, right? The seller or the retailer gets the money instantly. And then the obligation now between you and the bank. Now you need to sell, for example, let's say you 100,000. So let's say it will be 100,000. And then you need to pay back 200,000 to the bank about the money that you have spent. So then it's a risk-free, right, for the businessman. He doesn't care whether it's a debit card or a credit card or a cash payment. So he'll receive the money and there's no risk as well. There's no risk of bad debts, right? But here what happened? So now the transaction, so now the responsibility with the customer or the credit card holder to settle to the bank, right? So, and also what happened when you, now it will be now when the customers use credit cards, it will be increased sales. For example, there will be promotions, the bank will make promotions. So then even sometimes you see, you don't have a really need of purchasing something. But when you see the offer, they anyway use it. It could be a restaurant, it could be shopping or whatever, maybe a hotel stay. It's motivate for you to spend. Businessman sales වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන් සහ because of the offers, so they keep using the cards. අනිත් එක ගොඩක් සමහරට අපි shopping කරන්න හරි මොනාරි purchase කරන්න ගියාම අපි expect කරපු දේවල් නම් සමහර අරගෙන ඉන්න. මොකද it keep you spending and spending. යෝක පස්සේ settle කරන්න ඕනේ. I can settle කියලා you do it. So that's sort of a thing. But there are advantages, like I said, the discount, in emergency case that you can use. So that sort of benefits are there, but there are disadvantages, like if you do not pay on time, there will be a surcharge, there will be interest. So that you need to pay, and there will be annual membership fee or a renewal fee that you have to pay, right? So I think from the business's point of view, there are a lot of benefits because why? It keep the customer motivated to spend more with the business, and there's a risk-free when it comes to the being a bad debt. So that sort of thing. So you need to make sure that in the examination, whether they're asking the benefits from the customer's point of view, who is the card holder, or whether they're asking from the business's point of view. Now let's see the advantages and the limitations or the disadvantages provided here. So advantages to the customer. Having an account is not a requirement to obtain a credit card. Yes, it's not a requirement. So what's the requirement is just to prove your income. This is an interest-free loan for a given period. Interest-free loan for a given period. Sometimes we get the credit period of 30 days, like 40 days, 45 days. So if you settle within that period, now if you can settle this 100,000 transaction within that period provided, could be 30 days, 40 days, or 45 days, or even 50 days. That is depend on the bank. So that money, if you can settle, there won't be any interest. But if you keep delaying the payment, or once you pass the due date, there will be an interest for that. And cash can be obtained through an ATM machine within the credit limit. Yes, like I said, the option is available, example 30%. For example, some banks provide 50%, depend, right guys? It depends on the bank. For some banks, you can withdraw 50%. Some banks 30% out of the total credit limit. So if the total credit limit is 100,000, you can withdraw up to 30,000 or 50,000, depend on the bank. And being entitled for discounts and bonus points, yes. Now we can just check, for example, if you check one of our website now, let's check out Sampath credit cards. Sampath credit card offers. Right. So if you need, there will be a set of offers in different sectors. You can see. It could be here, you can see the credit card offers, electronic and furniture, supermarkets, hotels, health and insurance, fashion, and premium offers, travel and leisure. For example, that let's say for hotels, if you check hotels, right, you can see a lot of stuff like 25%, 35%, like 25, 25, so even 55%. Secret Jungles, you can go there, 55% discount for the Sampath Mastercards. So let's check out some other one. For example, supermarket offers. Cargill's 25% discount for Sampath Mastercard, Visa. Okay, let's see what is that conditions. Let's see what's they're asking. Okay, 25% of fresh vegetables, seafoods, fruits. Yeah, okay. So when you purchase, offer to 10% off and fresh vegetables. So there are like this, conditions are there. Maximum discount offer will be limited to 1,000 per card holder per day. So likewise, things are there. What else, guys? What else? Dining. Dining. Now let's see a couple of maybe restaurants. If you check the dining here. Okay, at the moment, I think there's no dining. Diners, long. Okay. Electronic and furniture. There are no offers because this is not a good time to give them the offers. So travel and leisure, there are no discounts at this moment. Let's say fashion and other. Diligence. Okay. What else? So the same in every bank it's mentioned as, even if you check the HSBC as well, you can see. So their website they mention. That is also, you can see based on different criteria. So let's say local holidays. Right, so you can see 20. Okay, so here it's 25% off Aralia Beach Resorts. So likewise, you can see Amara Sky for, so set of things. That's just to show you to get an idea. Yes, so one of the benefits being entitled for discounts and the points as well. Right. Well, disadvantages: having to pay a penalty for late payments for the credit cards and not being able to carry out transfer from all the sales. And then what trip tag gila monari ne lamoteka ne the monari podi kadayකින් නවත්තනවා නේද තැඹිල ගෙඩියක් බොන්න. අපි cash now ඔක්කොම cards වලින් pay කරන්න. So can you pay use the card? No, right? So there could be instances that where the card facilities are not available. සමහර දැන් මේ දවස්වල power cuts නිසා සමහර ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ systems වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒතර එහෙම ප්‍රශ්න වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? සමහර ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ system downtime එවලා machines වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම situation තියෙන පුළුවන්. So that brings you some limitations and disadvantages. So shall we highlight that as well? Disadvantages or the limitations. Next one, advantages to the business. Yeah, that's one of a key area. Certainly that money will be received for a credit sale. You don't have to worry. Yes, the bank will pay for you right after. An increase in profit because of a higher turnover, like I said, having a credit card will always keep, credit card holder to motivate you to spend. And receiving a free publicity because why? The bank, you can see that in the bank's website mention the business's name, and also they sometimes use social media, they use radio, they use TV for them to advertise. So that kind of a free advertising they are getting from the bank. And the disadvantages, commission. Yes, there has to be commission. In most of the cases, 3% commission. And special machine has to be installed. What is that special machine? Yes, you need to have this EFT POS machine, right? EFT POS machine. We are talking about this one. So in order to use these cards, got it. Right, now let's move to the debit cards, another area. So this is also kind of we are using anyway, right? Because for a normal savings account, you'll be receiving a debit card for you to withdraw money, and also it's possible for you to make the payment. So what's the difference between is that debit card will be depend on, it's basically depend on the balance that you held in your bank account, not a credit limit. So it's something like you are using on money for your payments. So when there's no sufficient money in your bank account, you won't be able to use. So this is not a credit facility. This is, you are just using your own money in a different form. So an account holder can use this card to settle his shopping bill, and also withdraw money from ATM and the balance remaining in his account, right? So it's basically the account balance. This card is issued by the commercial bank where the account is maintained. Yes. And the debit cards are the cards issued by the commercial banks to their customers, facilitating them to make payments directly using the cash available in the bank account. Can you please highlight the definition? This is as per your syllabus, right? So debit cards are the cards issued by the commercial banks to their customers, facilitating them to make payments directly using the cash available in the bank account. It is required to have a bank account to obtain a debit card. Goods and services can be purchased using these cards up to the cash balance available in the bank account. And what do you think? Is there any discount for that as well? Yes, for some cases, even for the debit cards also you have discounts, but most of the cases the discount percentage is quite less. For example, when they have a discount for credit card, 25%, for the yeah, so guys, I'm having a sudden power cut. I don't know why there's a power outage at this time. But anyway, let's continue. I have my extra light. So one thing to confirm, I hope you guys can hear me properly because I don't trust on data. Yes. Well, but the screen sharing is not available. Hi. Well, so yes, so it's the debit card. So it's basically you are using the balance of the bank account, and also to some extent there will be discounts as well. So can we just highlight some points there? I hope we'll get power as quickly. Let's okay. I have the note, no issue, right? Well, so shall we move to the next part? What do you think the advantages to the customer and the disadvantages? So the advantages, obviously, you don't have to go to the bank. So you can go to the nearest ATM to withdraw money. And also the bank operated in a limited time period, especially in a situation like this, or maybe it could be 9 to 3. So, and also they will be closed on POI days, public holidays, banking holidays. So in that and also if you want to make a transaction during even 24 hours, that is possible when you have a debit card. So one thing, you don't have to go to the bank, and also it's allow you to do the transaction 24 hours irrespective of any holidays because the machines will be working there. Right? So that's sort of a benefit that you are taking. And also you don't have to worry about carrying money as well in the notes file. And the payment the balance just you can pay the card. So that's one of the benefit that you are getting. And disadvantages also, for example, I would say when you withdraw, there will be a small charge. For example, if you use the same bank ATM, for example, if you have a debit card from commercial bank, if you use a commercial bank ATM, that will be, I think, just 5 rupees. But if you use a different bank, there will be like 20 or 30 or even amount higher than that for you to make the withdrawal. So in that manner, as far as concerned, there will be a cost for that. And also there could be instances that same applicable to the, I would say, the debit cards. There could be instances where the card facilities are not available. And in order to withdraw money, you need to have ATMs as well. So sometimes when you go out station, there are some instances that you are unable to find ATM. So in that manner, you won't be able to make a withdraw and pay the money there, right? So that sort of things are there. So shall we write, guys? So I'll read out because since I'm unable to share, advantages to the customer. Advantages to the customer. Shall we write our first point? Interest is not payable. First advantage, yes. So when you compare the debit cards and credit cards, guys, you don't have to pay interest, right? Because it's your money you are using, right? So that time we can say yes. Can you write the first one? Interest is not payable because the money is in your account. You are just using the money in your account. Interest is payable because the money is in your account, right? Shall we write that point, please? Interest is not payable because the money is in his account used. Guys, just give me 1 second. Right, so let's continue. Sorry for that disturb. So let's start with that, the advantages to the customer. Let me share the content. And also the disadvantage, let's complete at the same time. So while you're writing, I'll explain some of this stuff. Yes, like I said, interest is not payable because the money is your account. So actually you'll be receiving interest for your savings account. And the transaction is completed at the same time because you don't have to again settle to the bank. Now, what happened when you use a credit card? Yes, so the bank will settle on behalf of you. So on behalf of you, bank will settle to the vendor or the shop or to the business. Then you have to again settle to the bank. Now here, at the same time, transaction is completed because bank will be deducted the money from your account. Bank will deduct money from your account. The cash withdrawals can be done through ATM machines. And the disadvantages, you need to have a bank account, otherwise you cannot obtain a debit card. And the value of the transaction is limited up to the balance available in your account. Even it's not possible to use extra 5 or 6 rupees, right? Even a 10 rupees. And shopping karla. And the card is subject, so it says your card decline or something like that. So it is limited to the amount you have in your bank account. Not possible even a single cent. I'll give another 1 minute, so then we can move to the next part of it, and then the important area to discuss the characteristics. So Chaturma, just let me know once you're done. So we can move to the prepaid cards and the smart cards and the characteristics of the. Yes, good, right. So let's quickly move to the prepaid cards. So this is a type of a card obtained by making payments in advance. So when you say prepaid, yes, it's making advance payments. So this is convenient, protective electronic payment system that can be used instead of paying in cash or by check. So even a person who does not maintain an account, it's possible for them to make a prepaid, for example, prepaid telephone cards. So that can be used to pay your telephone expenses, right? So that sort of thing comes under the prepaid cards. So shall we write a couple of examples? Prepaid cards, telephone cards, and travel passes. Telephone cards and travel passes. Now, for example, this is something not usually used in Sri Lanka, travel passes, but it's something like country like in Australia, country like UK, you need to have a travel pass for you to transport in a public transport. So it's a payment that you make in advance. So then you have to just swipe that card when you enter to using the public transport, right? So it's a account එක top up කර use කරන්න පුළුවන්. Travel pass එක. Recharge card, you know well about recharge cards. I don't think that so we need to discuss much about the telephone cards or the recharge cards.
Hello friends, most welcome to our YouTube channel, Lingo Tours.
Well, so in Sri Lanka also this concept introduced, but I don't know whether it's practical or I don't know whether it's using right now. Something called the storage card. So that also kind of, for example, it's a matter of card that you purchase. So keep topping up that you pay every lots. So then it's the money. For example, if you use a torch card worth of 1,000, which means you can travel using public transport up to 1,000 rupees. So every time when you use the card, the money will be deducted from your card. Rather, you can check the balance. Now, when you realize now the balance is just 50 rupees, so prior to your next travel, you make sure that you top up your card. So that's something like that. So I think this introduced, I don't know, because in Sri Lanka, what happened, they only introduced, right? So they don't see it's keep going. So this sort of a thing, but I think it's really good, right? Because you don't have to worry about the balance. Sometimes, that you have to, when you don't have change and they are taking some extra money as well. Some case, for example, when the ticket is, let's say, 46, sometimes you pay 50. So there's instances there, right? So, but, and also it's a kind of a very difficult thing for you to use cash as well for some cases. But it's really good when you have one card, so just use it. Right? So I think the both parties will be benefited, but unfortunately, not currently operating. Right. So moving to smart cards, the next concept. So this is an integrated circuit card, a chip with a specified money value embedded in the credit card, in the desk card. So once a transaction is completed using this card, the value of the transaction is debited to the card and the balance is reduced. So the card can be reloaded by making regular payments to the organization that issued the card. So while this card, the same facet as a credit card, debit card, so can be also as a So what happened here? So if a card with a chip integrated, so we normally use as a smart card. Now, for example, even this credit card, you can see this as integrated or a chip because you can see this this microchips being included. Well, so that's about it. So now moving to one of important area, which is the characteristics of in the electronic money, right? So here's a sample that I put here. As you can see, this is a credit card issued by HSBC Bank. Now, what sort of a characteristic that you can identify? So first thing is that you have your the name of the organization, the name and the logo of the issuing organization. As for this case, that will be HSBC, right? So this is the name and the logo of the issuing organization. I'll put number 1 here. So I'll share you the details after that. So now first you have to listen well. The number 2 is a type of card. So in that manner, this is a credit card, right? This is a credit card issued by the bank. And then you have the card number here. So I would say this is as number 3, right? The card number, as it's always a 16-digit number, always a 16 digits number is there, which is the card number, right? 16 digits number. And then you have the card holder's name. As for this case, you have HR under, who is the card holder's name. And then you have the signature stripe, right? You can see, so you can make your signature here. And this is something we call the security code, right? The security code. So you can see this last 3 digits. Yeah, right. So then hologram is there. Issuing the organization names is there, right? Well, just give me 1 second, guys. Well, so what else, guys? And also this is what we call as a magnetic stripe, because in a check that you identify the fact that you had this MICR, so something similar to that, because this is the place where the teller will be swiping the card or insert, and also this microchip also available, and this is something we known as this hologram, which is again a security feature, and this is the credit card network. As for this case, this is the membership with the Visa credit card agency. Yeah, and also some institutes or the financial institute or the bank's contact details will be there if you want to activate or deactivate the card. That sort of information is available, right? So what I'll do is, guys, shall I share my screen? Can you all take those details? So what you can see in a electronic card, starting from the name and the logo of the issuing organization, the type of card, the card number is always 16 digits, and the brand logo is there, Visa, Master, could be Amex. So this is what is the credit card agency. Right, credit card network agency. And also remember the date of expiry also there. So I have a card here actually, guys. I can show you that print out because it is gonna expire, right? It's already expired. So as you can see, this is 7th, right? 7th July, right? So July is expired. So likewise, because then you have to again request, you got to go back to the bank and apply for another card. So there will be a charge for that as well, right? So guys, you have to write somehow. You need to find the time, find the space. Actually, I haven't. Yes, can we use somewhere here? Or else, what we can do? Or මෙතනම මේ විදිහට පුළුවන්. Name කරගත්තා නම් I think that will be better. Chaturma. So yes. So I'll give like 5 minutes. So then we can move to our next part, which is advantage and disadvantage, and we come to the license specialized bank. Right. So hi Kavishi and Anila. I think we have completed this part, so it's something we need to start with license specialized bank. Am I correct? For you too. Okay, thanks. So probably you guys have to wait another 10 to 15 minutes. I believe that will be fine. Right. Well, so Chaturma, if you need any help, just let me know. Right? Or පුළුවන් මේකේ පේන විදිහටම මේ විදිහට name නම් කරගන්න. Right? So just mark those. So then that will be great. And let me know if you have any questions. So hologram is something, this is the sticker that you can see with the icon of a bird. Right? And what important here is you have to make sure that what sort of information, what sort of a characteristic that you can see the front side of the car and the reverse side of the car. So that is kind of a common question. They keep checking, right? So for example, expiry date, card holder's name, the brand logo, everything will be the front side, right? And if you think about the signature stripe, the magnetic stripe, so this will be the reverse side of the card, right? So that get that understanding, then that will be the one of a common question that keep checking. Right, so let's move to the final part of the electronic cash, which is the advantages and disadvantages. And guys, remember that This is not specifically they are asking the advantages and the disadvantage. Remember that fact. It is generally I have think when the set එක specifically I have think අපි වෙනම discuss කරා. Advantages, disadvantages of credit cards. So then you have to specifically mention that figure. Now here we are generally speaking, what are the advantages and disadvantages of electronic cash? So that could include the credit card, debit card, smart card, the set of stuff. Generally තමයි කතා කරන්නේ මොනවාද වාසි සහ අවාසි. ඊට කලින් අපි separately කතා කරා advantages, disadvantages when it comes to credit and debit. So here it's a general advantages. So we can quickly move to that. The cost of transactions being minimized, yes. For example, you don't have to travel, you don't have to go there, you have to just do the transaction and you don't have to worry about carrying money and assuring the safety of cash, yes. Just a matter of, because if just bank or wallet cards විතරයි නම් තියෙන ඒක නැතුණත් you can just call to the bank and block all the cards. Now what happened if you had a wallet full of cash? Yeah, cash ටික ආවට බෑ නේද මේ එහෙම කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? හිතන්න 2 wallets නේද? දැන් මංගලං wallet එකක් තියෙන full of cards, no cash. මේක නැතුණා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. So I just call to bank and cancel all my cards. So no one can use it, right? But if you guys have a wallet which full of cash, a lot of cash, මේ call කරලා කියන්න පුළුවන් central bank එකට මගේ මේ cash even you don't remember that the code number, right? So then anyone can use ඒ වගේ benefits තියෙනදී අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම හැම දෙයකම every side there's a two side of it, right? Every coin has two side. ඒ වගේ තමයි මෙතනත් advantages, disadvantages දෙකම තියෙනවා. Ability to make transfer 24 hours a day, yes. Convenience, various benefits we talk about now, because you don't get sometimes discounts, sometimes the discounts only for card payments. Because why? For you, motivate kartama hema denne. Ability to use for overseas, yes, global transaction. Because the Visa, Master, now balot debit card international debit card, international shopping card. So which means the global recognition is there. Disadvantages, having to bear the cost of the interest, penalties for delayed payments, and also fraudulent activities could happen. The card details use karana, I think එහෙම ප්‍රශ්නක් තියෙනවා. And addiction, yes, addiction. And I don't recommend, guys, remember, I don't recommend for you to use credit card. Why? Because I have personal experience, kind of an addiction to the හිතන දේ ගන්න හිතනවා කී පස්සේනේ settle කරන්නේ. That බඩගිනි නැතුණත් කොහෙන් හරි ගිහිල්ලා මොන හරි කනවා. හරිද? So that thing happened. So I would suggest think twice before you apply credit card. So better to use a debit card, right? So that I don't know. That's what my personal opinion. And interruptions to transaction due to technical defects. දවසක් I remember incident. I think I shared this before. The restaurant එකට ගියලා කොහොම කළා අන්තිමට මේ card machine එක අද වැඩ කරන්නේ නැහැ. So then so we had to go back to find an ATM. Then again we had to withdraw money and settle the payment. So good things could happen, especially today's context, right? Power cuts, outages, machines are not working, and inability and the lack of knowledge for all customers who carry out the transaction. Sometimes they feel like they don't want to use, they don't trust on those, and especially when you make online payments, they believe your details will be exposed. So kind of a mindset different people have. So then they thought of using the traditional way. Well, so I'll give you like another 1 to 2 minutes, and then we'll start our next subtopic: licensed specialized banks. Now I would say like 65% වගේ අපි මේ lesson එක ඉවරයි. අතන මේක තමයි grade 12 එකේ තියෙන තවත් key topic එකක්. You know there are 5 key topics, key lessons. Grade 12. So that's what it takes time for us to complete. Well, now let's move to our next part, which is license specialized banks. එහෙනම් මොකක්ද license කියලා කියන්නේ? එහෙනම් අපි කතා කරා license commercial. They also need to obtain a license from Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Now, if you check the Central Bank website, the listed licensed commercial banks, the name list is there. They have uploaded. And likewise, so let's see the list of licensed specialized bank as well. In Sri Lanka, we have 6 banks. Bank Hayak, you know, one of the main bank Hayak, starting from NSB. We have National Savings Bank. We have Sanasa Development Bank. We have Sri Lanka Savings Bank. We have HDFC, which is Housing Development Financial Corporation, right? HDFC Bank. And we do have State Mortgage and Investment Bank, SMIB. What else we are missing? So we have 6, which is RDB, which is the Regional Development Bank. Right? And also there's no such a classification foreign banks. Local banks, right? So why is the license special? So they're established for a special purpose. The main difference between a licensed commercial bank, LCB, versus licensed specialized bank is that they do not have the authority to operate current accounts, right? So they do have current accounts. Yes and no. So then, as a businessman, never go to one of these bank and ask, can I have a current account application? Because why? They do not operate. So as far as we concern that thing, apart from that, most of the services provided by licensed commercial banks, also you can obtain from the licensed specialized bank as well, right? Term deposits, savings deposits, right? All the stuff. And also there are some limitations with foreign transaction when you come to license specialized banks, especially dealing with letter of credits. But as far as I concern, NSB, they do have the facility to issue letter of credits. And these banks, I think, not in a position to issue letter of credit. So that's one of another difference. But mainly what we consider is the operating of current account. So that's the difference. And they contribute to the economy in a different way. For example, the Regional Development Bank, they try to enhance the SME sector of the regional areas, and also SMIB, boosting investments and mortgage. And NSB is one of, again, the largest bank in Sri Lanka in terms of the asset portfolio. But they are, keep you motivated and keep spreading the benefits of savings, basically. So SDB also the same, SLSB. So they are like special purpose. So that's the main reason. So let's see the number of banks. As you can see, I have mentioned in the tube. So that is extracted from the CBSL website. So let's check whether there are any differences, any changes for that. So let's move to CBSL website. So when you go to the banking sector, right, you go to the banking sector, and then you should be able to find the list of licensed specialized bank. Yes, there are only 6 banks, guys. Housing Development Finance Corporation, HDFC Bank, National Savings Bank, God Road, Colombo 3, right? Just next to that Carnival ice cream shop, right? National Savings Bank. And Pradeshi Samvardhana Bank, Regional Development Bank. So region, the Pradeshi means regional. Samasa Development Bank, which is SDB, which is again specialized bank, and Sri Lanka Savings Bank, and also the State Mortgage and Investment Bank, which is SMIB Bank. In Sinhala, we say Raja Ukasaha Ayojana Bank. So that is a mortgage and investment. So there is a list. Right. So it's really important that you know the name list, because there could be chance that they check select the answer only consists with licensed commercial bank, select the answer which only consists of specialized banks. So it's really important that you know the list. You don't have to write it, so it's already there. So let's highlight a couple of stuff. Yes, so these are special, right, type of institution that has procured a license from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka to undertake business activities as a specialized bank under the Banking Act. Right? Specialized. So why is that special? Speciality is that they are not authorized to operate current accounts, unfortunately, right? Okay. So however, they are authorized to accept the deposits, savings accounts, time deposit or the term deposit. What do you mean by the fixed deposit? So that is possible. So here we have these 6 banks. And what do you think, how they contribute to the national economy? How they contribute to the business activities. So let's talk about that. Except providing the facility of current account, except the facility of use of checks. Now, what do you think, guys? Now, if you still think, now my question. Now, I'm going to ask a simple question. Let's say now you got a check, right? You got a check from one of your supplier. You got a check from one of your supplier, right? Correct. So your banking, let's say you use the NSD bank. Or bank account in NSD bank. Let's say 50,000 check you received, right? One of a supplier or a customer that you received. Now, can you deposit this check in this bank account? Yes or no? Can you deposit checks in a bank account where you operate in a licensed specialized bank? Is that possible? No. Yes. What do you think? Is that possible for you to deposit? Yes, guys, it doesn't matter, right? You can deposit checks. No issue with that. You can deposit. The only matter is they do not issue checks. Megalanga checks issue karana naha. Got it, right? There's no chance. And also sometimes the student think like, now let's say current account එකක්ම තියෙන්න ඕන check එකක් deposit කරන්න. එහෙම අවශ්‍ය නැහැ, right? Even for your savings account you can deposit. So no issue, you can deposit. But the only matter is for your account you cannot obtain a checkbook. You cannot obtain a check from there. But if you receive checks, no issue, then you can deposit in your savings account or your fixed deposit account if you want to open a new fixed deposit. Right. So let's see the stuff. So how you can contribute, or how these banks contribute. So there's a mistake here, guys. It should be licensed specialized bank. Well, accepting time and saving deposit, as you know, yes, no doubt. Accepting time and deposits as usual. And they do provide loans, yes, that also thing. Providing loan facility to entrepreneurs involved in different fields. Underwriting of company shares, providing leasing facilities, providing management advisory services. So I think except current account facility, so other 99% of the services provided by these banks. Now let's go and visit one of the licensed specialized bank. අපි ගිහලා බලමු website එකකට once we done with writing what sort of services that they do provide. Right, guys. So I thought of visiting to the NSB website. Okay, I'll give 1 minute for this. Right, guys. So let's move to that part. So let me share my screen. Right now, if you visit this NSB Bank website, as you can see under their products, right? If you check the product, so product means the what sort of deposits facilities they're providing. So they have savings, ordinary savings, minor accounts, which is the kids accounts, investment plan, but you don't find any current account facility, term deposits, senior citizens like us. And if you go the loans and advances, yes, they do provide housing loans, auto loans, which is for like vehicle loan, right? Education loan, likewise, you know, sort of stuff, but you don't find. Now let's go and visit another bank, which is SMIP, State Mortgage and Investment Bank. Same manner. Here the introduction says, the State Mortgage and Investment Bank is one of the longest standing bank in Sri Lanka. It operates as a large and specialized bank, meeting the housing, financing needs and other personal business needs. So that's what you can see the act there mentioned, right? So likewise, you can see the services they do provide: savings account, fixed deposit, the bonding services, loan services, consumer banking. So all this stuff, right, that we discussed. And all SMIB support for growth SMEs, which is small and medium enterprises, like micro lending solution. They have like island-wide branch network, so but they only have 25 branches. So you can see, right, even if you visit HDFC, that's also the Housing Development Finance Corporation. If you check their product and services here, you can see loans, savings, investment plan, leasing, mobile banking. So rest of the all services should provided except these so let's see whether we can get an intro. Like the same stuff, but if you check one of a commercial bank's website like HNB, definitely you have the products here. If you go to products, for example, this you can see under the business services they do provide. Right, savings and current, right? So if you check that, you can see savings and current. So current account passive is there. Right, so that sort of stuff I think I'm more than clear about what is license specialized bank. Now with that, we are fully done with the banking sector. Now let me revise your knowledge. So if you go back to page number 12 of your tute. Yes, so now for us discuss. Now it's time to start the other deposit taking financial institutions, since we are done with central bank, licensed commercial banks, license. දැන් මේ තුන ඉවරයි කියන අතර මේ lesson එක ඉවරයි වගේ තමයි. මොකද මෙතනින් එහාට අපි මේ හැම financial institution එකක් ගැනම වැඩි විස්තර කතා කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. Just the intro part plus what are the services they do provide. So likewise, we will have to discuss here another 3 organizations, and this is the specialized financial institution. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again 7. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Yes. So altogether 12. Yes, around 15 organization we have to discuss. Now let's start with licensed financial companies. Right, so make it ඇත්තටම වෙනස මේගොල්ලෝ දැන් financial companies, because there are financial companies who make a huge profits which is higher than some commercial banks. In a සමහර financial companies තියෙනවා මේ banks වලට වඩා profit earn කරනවා. So the only difference is again the current account. They do not operate current accounts. So the rest of the facilities they do provide. But there are differences. Now you might wonder why they are going for licensed financial companies. අපි කියන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලා අපේ සාමාන්‍ය වචනේ කියන්නේ අපි finance company නැත්නම් finance company කියලා කියනවා, right? ඇයි හේතුව? ගොඩක් වෙලාට they make a risk. Now for example, සාමාන්‍ය bank එකක් risk එක ගන්න ටිකක් කැමති නැහැ. They always try to avoid the risk. For example, they do check proper documents, proper set of financial statements available before they giving a loan. So that I kind of standard is there. Then අපි හිතමු businessman කෙනෙක් යනවා one of a bank. It could be licensed specialized bank or a licensed commercial bank to obtain a loan. සමහර loan එක reject වෙනවා. මොනාර හේතුවක් නිසා reject වෙනවා. හැබැයි එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ඊට පස්සේ ඒකෙම එහා පැත්තේ නැත්නම් ඒක ඉස්සරහා තියෙන license financial company එකක්. අපි තමු LB Finance හරි මොනාරි එහෙම කියලා. මෙයා යනවා මෙතනට. Sometime there is a possibility that he will receive the loan, but there will be a high interest. So they take some high risk. For that, yes, they will. For example, because the banks always monitor, for example, if the loan rate is 15% in this bank, maybe here that could be 22%. But unfortunately, this businessman, because why? His file got rejected in the bank, but somehow to find the option, he go to the this finance companies. So basically, if you compare the interest rate, that's high. So that is in terms of lending. Huh? Now, what about the deposit? Deposit also same. So for the bank, if they are paying like 18% for fixed deposit, let's say 1 year deposit, 1 year fixed deposit, 18%. And when this customer goes to this bank, this is a bank and this is a licensed financial company. Bank එක යන ගමන් දකින්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා ලොකු බෝඩ් එකක් දාලා තියෙනවා. නේද? 23% එහෙම නැත්නම් 21% එහෙම නැත්නම් ලොකු රේට් එකක් ගෙවනවා කියලා අපි හිතමු 20%. දැන් මොකද කරන්නේ? බැංක් එකේ ඩිපොසිට් කරන්නේ නැතුව මෙතනින් ගන්නවා ලොකු ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකක් ගන්න. ඉතින් ඔය වගේ attract විදිහට තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ මේක business එක කරගන්නේ. So in terms of lending, they take a higher risk, and also in terms of attracting the deposit, they also pay high interest compared to banks. Okay. ඉතින් ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට තමයි. And also the same thing, ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ FDs, ඒ වගේම property sales, purchasing of these stuff that also happening, and also especially leasing facilities provided by licensed financial companies. But they do not categorize under the banking sector. They comes under the other financial institution which accept deposits. මොකද හැම company එකකම නැත්නම් හැම financial institution එකකම public deposit asset karanna baha, right? So, but they do have the right because they also get a license. That's why they're known as the licensed financial companies. There has to be a license, and let's check the list of licensed financial companies as well. Because before you deposit, you need to make sure they have obtained the license from the CBSA. So at the moment, there are like 40 plus licensed financial companies. So let's check that out as well, the list. So again, you can go to the CBSL website. So guys, when you go to the CBSL website, you can go to the financial system, but that has to be the non-bank sector, right? Because this is not banking. So here you can see the licensed financial companies. So here they have a list of licensed finance companies starting from the alphabetical order. They have like Abans Finance. So this is as per 30 June, right? Alliance, they have AMW Capital Leasing, Asia Asset. So likewise, Beanput Finance, CBC, Central Finance, you can see right here. Yes, it's around 36 there, not 40. So 35, 36 වගේ. සමහර ඒවාට පේනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ license temporary ඒගොල්ලන්ට restriction දාලා දුන්නා සමහර cases නිසා. Here you know, for some cases happen, you might remember what happened to Swarna Mahal Financial, what happened to ETI, right? You can see there the Monetary Board has issued a notice of cancellation of the license of this company under the provision of the Finance Act. If you check the finance, yes, ඒගොල්ලන්ගෙත් cancel කරලා තියෙනවා. Here ETI. So the Monetary Board has decided to close the director supervision of the, so they have to cancel it. So that's sort of a thing, right? Well, so you need to make sure that be aware when you deal with licensed financial companies. So let's move to the TUT. So let's see what we have there. These are special type of public companies that has procured a license from Central Bank Sri Lanka for the under the Finance Act. දැන් කලින් එකේ තියෙන Banking Act එක මෙතන තියෙන Finance Act එක. And this has to be public companies. So with the purpose of accepting the time deposits and providing investment loan facilities based on those funds. Right, guys, shall we write a couple of examples? Let me share the content again. හරි අපි මෙතනින් පුළුවන් ද example කීපයක් ලියාගන්න. මම space දීලා තියෙනවා box එකක්. Shall we write a couple of examples? අපි ගොඩක්ම දන්න තමයි LB Finance, ඊට පස්සේ මෙතනින් Abans Finance, Asia Asset Finance. So shall we write a couple of examples? And also like here, Central Finance, CDB, Citizens Development Business Finance. Dialogue also, they have a finance company. Central Finance, Commercial Credit and Finance, right? Do not write ETI because they have already cancelled. HNB also, they have finance as well. They have a bank, they have a finance company. LB is one of the main leading financial institution. And LOLC also the same, LOLC Development and Finance. You don't have to write all 36, but I'm just finding some leading one. So we have Syncadegala Finance. Right, so this setup will be more than enough. And also CEPAT also one of the leading one that also belongs to Sampath Bank. CEPAT Finance. Valuable, that's also one of our main. So I think that will be more than enough for us to write some examples. I'll give another 1 minute and let's discuss what sort of activities that those licensed financial companies provide. And let's go and check one of our website as well. I'll give some time. ඉතින් ඇත්තටම බැලුවොත් ඉතින් බැංක් එකක් වගේම තමයි licensed financial companies ඔක්කොම සර්විස් ටික දෙනවා current accounts හැර. Let's go and visit one of our website. හරි අපි ගිහලා බලමු. Let's go to LB Finance. Here you can see LB Finance is a licensed Sri Lankan finance company which was incorporated in 1971 as Private Limited Liability Company. So then they have now listed in Colombo Stock Exchange as well. Right, so let's see what sort of services they do provide. So they can go to the solutions. Solution means what sort of services we can see, right? You can see the service that they do provide. So it's exactly same, no? Leasing, right? Which is again a short-term loan facility called Powergraph. Gold loans, which we talk about the bonding services. Fixed deposit, access to fixed deposit savings, money exchange, mortgage facilities, education loan, personal loan, Islamic finance, utility bills, or money payments, all the stuff they do provide. For example, if you think the savings, right? So you can see the options available. LD savings, so likewise the percentage this is quite high, right? The percentage at this moment. Also, if you check the rest of the things, you don't find the current account facilities, but the leasing, fixed deposits. So let's check the rates for fixed deposits. So quite good, right? So we can see 20%, 23. So now at the moment, quite the interest rate are quite high. So for example, 1 year you can get 21.25, not bad. But the inflation is more than that, so that's the issue, right? When you have a inflation higher than the interest rate, there's no point of saving. So this stuff. So let's see. So let's try some of the services they do provide as you show. Well, shall we write a couple of things? Okay, let me share anyway. Yes, providing hire purchase facilities or the leasing facilities, sale of land and property, finance leasing, short-term loans, public state securities, accepting time deposits. Website example, the gold loans, right? Run pass account. Educational loans සුද්දේ නෝ ඒගොල්ලෝ. What else? What else? Utility bills, payment of utility bills. As you see the flow of this lesson, I think with the intro එක කතා කරා services. That's about it. ඒ විදිහට අර හැම financial company ගැනම අපිට කතා කරන්න තියෙනවා. Right. So, right, guys. So let's move to our next part. So we are still in our second category, which is deposit taking institutions. We have cooperative rural banks. මෙන්න හොඳ දෙයක්. Banks කියන වචනේ තියෙනවා නේද? CRB කියලා අපි කියන cooperative rural banks. හැබැයි cooperative rural banks කියලා කිව්වට මේක අයිති වෙන්නේ නම් banking sector එක නෙමෙයි. So that's something you have to be mindful, right? But they do have the facility to accept public deposit, but not categorized under the banking sector, even though there's a the bank කියලා නම mention වුණත් ඒක banking sector එකට අයිති වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So let's move to that part. Banking sector. Cooperative rural banks. So this is an organization that provides loans to its members as one of its main activities and also accepts time and fixed deposits from members as well as non-members. Guys, remember this is actually the banking sector of the multi-purpose cooperative societies. So we'll be talk about that in our lesson number 4, which is types of business organization. Where I will be talking about the cooperative society. So it's the banking sector of the cooperative societies. So remember the fact that they do accept the deposit from, it could be members or non-members. For example, you can be a member of one of these cooperative societies. Then cooperative societies ගැන කතා කරන මොකද ගොඩක් cooperative societies වල business එකක් තමයි fuel station. They do mean, have fuel station. ගොඩක් ලාට fuel station තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේ දැස්වල ගොඩක් කතා කරන දෙයක්. Right. Yes. So let's try to some activities as well from the cooperative rural bank. So what sort of services? The activities mean the services they do provide. And also you have to write some examples as well. Right, cooperative rural bank of Maharagama Multipurpose Cooperative Society. So the cooperative society can have their banking sector as the CRPs. So they receive deposit from members as well as non-members. And මතක තියාගන්න ඒක loans දෙන්නේ නම් members ලාට විතරයි. So providing loans only for the members. You have to be a member of this cooperative society in order to obtain the loan, but irrespective of the membership, you can deposit money. That no issue. So the pawning activities, savings, and fixed deposit. You can see the regular financial services provided by each and every institutes, and also popularizing the cooperative lifestyle among the rural people. All right, guys, I'll give like another 2 minutes. I will maximum take 5 minutes of your time. So let's complete this, and I'll explain some more, and we'll visit one of the website as well. Like දැන් අපි දිගටම හැම example එකකින් කතා කරන්නේ. ඒ නිසා අපි බලමු ගිහිල්ලා cooperative rural bank එකක් website එක මොනවායි services ද ඒගොල්ලෝ provide කරන්නේ කියලා. Right, so what I'll do is I'll share this content to the group as well. If you miss anything, you can complete there as well. Okay. So let's visit one of a cooperative rural bank website. And මොනවාද මේ cooperative rural bank කියලා කියන්නේ? The banking sector of cooperative societies. අපිට තව example එකක් add කර ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. දැන් මම visit කරලා තිනවා CRB Bank, the Colombo District Cooperative Rural Bank එකේ website එකට. Let's check this out. අය අපි එතනම example එකක් ලියන්න. දැන් example කියලා ලියුවා නේද? අර cooperative rural bank of multi-purpose cooperative society කියලා. ආයෙත් තව example එකක් අපිට add කර ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? Colombo District Cooperative Rural Bank. Colombo District Cooperative Rural Bank. දැන් මම ඉන්නේ website එකේ. හරි. Another example, shall we write? අපි in සිංහල විශේෂ සමූපකාර ග්‍රාමීය බැංකුව. දැන් ඔය පාරේ යන එන ගමන් බලන්න සමහර අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයගලන්ටත් දකින්න පුළුවන් ඔයගේ බෝඩ්ස් ගහලා තියෙනවා සමූපකාර ග්‍රාමීය බැංකුව cooperative rural bank. Right, so Colombo District Cooperative Rural. Let's check this out. So what are the services? ඉතින් බලන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ credit facilities provide කරනවා, finance facilities, morning facilities, credit facilities ඔය විදිහට. ඉතින් small and medium entrepreneur loan programs, ඉතින් ඔය විදිහට consumer credit facilities අපි එකක් check කරලා බලමු මොනවාද consumer credit facilities කියලා. Yes, so kind of savings accounts. Well, so let's go to about and see. Here, the bank has achieved the distinguished success in the cooperative banking sector. So that's what we were talking about. Well, good. So that's about it, guys, when it comes to cooperative rural bank. We have cooperative principle. Okay, well, So next one අපිට තව එකක් ඉතුරුලා තියෙනවා other the deposit taking financial institutions කියන එක යටතේ මොනවාද? Sanasa societies, the thrift and credit cooperative societies කියන එක අපි ඒක කතා කරලා අපිට පුළුවන් ඊළඟට move වෙන්න special financial institution category එකේ leasing companies ඒ කියන්නේ මොකද third category තමයි ගොඩක් institutions තියෙන අපිට කතා කරන්නේ. So we'll start the next session with the Sanasa, which is the thrift and credit cooperative society. So then we are done with the second category. So then we start the next one as well. So probably we'll continue like that. Well, guys, so thank you for joining today's session, and we'll see you with the next one. Thank you and good night.